going on, y'all? It's DJ Tracy Treese from the LA Sparks Weekly Post-Game Show, y'all. I'm here with my co-hosts, Fredo and Michael. We are going live facing the Chicago Sky right here at Crypto.com Arena, and we're super excited for this matchup. This is arguably one of the most important games of the season, right, y'all?
So excited for this game that DJ said post-games, pre-game show. Because hey, we are excited because we know how big this game is going to be.
It's very important.
The Sparks, if they can win this game tonight, they can almost bury the Chicago Sky below them in the standings, which would mean that the Sparks will for sure be in the playoffs, where they will be pretty much playing for seeding for the rest of the way.
Right.
But it's going to be a big-time game. What's your thoughts, Fredo?
I mean, I'm just excited to see a great competition, great excitement out on the court because they're going to be fighting their butts off. I mean, every possession that's going to be out there, they got to be jumping down to the floor. They got to be fighting for those extra rebounds as well because we understand that sometimes rebound is a problem with this team.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just cannot rebound the ball, and hopefully Derek Hamby, Azrae Stevens, and Eka Gumake, the three biggest players on the court, hopefully they can go ahead and compete out there today.
Absolutely.
Can dominate this game because they're going to need to, but it's a special game today. Y'all see us with the pink
Y'all
on.
see us with the
It's
pink.
breast
Yeah.
health awareness game, so it's going to be a lot of fans tonight out there with the pink. The ladies came out in their warm-ups with pink on, so, you know, I know they're going to be ready to go for this game. You got anything before we pass it on to Coach DJ?
No, y'all. Coach had something really interesting to say in the press conference, so I'm going to throw it right to Coach, and we'll recap you after this.
Allie.
Hello.
Hello.
Coach, what's the balance to this moment right now? Not making it too big, but at the same time understanding the magnitude.
Yeah, I think, we addressed it and spoke to just what tonight happens if we win, what happens if they win. But we didn't dwell on it, but, certainly wanted to make sure that everyone was on the same page and understand that the winner of tonight, it's a big step forward towards the playoffs.
Coach, you've always, prided yourself in the film work that you do. What did you see on film in the matchups against Chicago that you want to focus on tonight?
First, it was, long ago. It hasn't, we haven't played them for a while. So certainly seeing different people that, aren't playing or were playing, so that. But, Chicago, when you look at their profile, they're terrific in transition and in early actions. One of the best in the league. They're going to be in the top 3 in the league in points, true fast break points and then early actions. Percentage of their points that come from fast break points is really high and in the top quadrant of this league. Then you go to their three-point shooting, and they have three-point shooting all over the place, and they can have terrific nights from the three-point line. And then they also still supplement that with being a good offensive rebounding team. So, what we see in that is a really dynamic offensive team when they can get going in transition. So everything tonight starts. Offensive execution is the first line of our transition defense. If we have good offensive execution, then we have an opportunity to get back and get them into their playbook. And then they're very guard dominant. And with Smith out tonight with a concussion, even more guard dominant. And when you look at the quadrant or certainly the trio that starts and then Dana Evans, they have 4, terrific guards, and that can all have big nights offensively and are such weapons. So your attention, your scouting all starts with their guard play, and then you commend Elizabeth Williams and what the heck she's done over these last 5 or 6 games. She's just played terrifically and put the ball in at a very high clip for her.
Pardon the question from somebody that hasn't been following this journey all the way, but what has, for lack of a better term, sparked this recent surge and gotten you guys back into playoff contention?
Well, I don't have enough time to explain this season because you wouldn't believe it if you didn't follow us. But, big part of this surge was having a consistent lineup. We had 15 different starting lineups early part of the season. It felt like we had a different injury or illness that we were managing and pivoting all the time from. We fell into, knock on wood, a consistent rotation, which allowed us to build some continuity and chemistry. More roles are defined when you have that chemistry of a consistent lineup. People knew they were coming off the bench. We fell into more, consistent subbing patterns. Played a huge part. Just getting minutes together in a first year of a foundational build, finding time and court time together was essential. And, it led to that 6-game winning streak, and we felt really good about ourselves. And, we sputtered at the offensive end against a very talented Connecticut team and played Friday night at 8 and Sunday at 1 p.m. and just looked fatigued. But now we have an opportunity, after not really practicing and flying through the night and getting into our beds at 2:30 in the morning. But I digress. But we're ready, for this big game.
Hey, Kurt. How has the experience, you guys have a roster with a number of players who have experience in championship games, winning championships, and some of them were role players in that, in those pushes. So how has their experience contributed to, the egolessness play that needs to take place now, the push to securing a spot in the playoffs?
Yeah, it's a good question, Annie. One of the things that is fun about this group is they're all finding their voice. And one of the things that you can say, probably with the exception of NECA, is everybody's asked to take a bigger role than maybe some of the teams that they won championships on, or some really talented teams that they were on, take on an even bigger role. Azare won a championship in Chicago, has been asked to take on a bigger role. Jordan was a part of championship teams, was asked to take on a bigger role. Leja and Jasmine have been to finals, asked to take, like big roles. Jasmine's been a little bit unhealthy, but Leja, out of the league last year, asked to take on a bigger role and find their voice. So they've been a part of successful teams. They've seen leaders, peer leaders that they've, played alongside of. And they know what it takes. They know what championship and winning locker rooms feel like. And so it's been fun to watch a lot of them find their voice and step into larger roles than maybe they've had.
Hey, Coach. The Sparks are currently leading the league in steals right now, and you've, in previous games, talked about trapping and some defensive strategies. Where can we see that tonight to shut down some of the Chicago guards?
Yeah, disruption's important for us. We're trying to dictate what we want to do and not allow people necessarily to just run what they want. So, tonight we're going to try to pick our places. Again, a lot of attention and disruption to their outstanding guards. But if you roll out the same defense for 40 minutes and they get used to it, they're too talented of a group, they're too explosive of a scoring unit. So we've got to adjust and throw different things at them and try to keep them off balance. That's the fun part of why I love to coach. It's the chess match within the games on when you adjust and when you change things and try to keep them off balance all night. Welcome back.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll tell you where I was afterwards. With less than 2 weeks to go in the regular season and with the analytical mindset, do you feel like this is a must-win against Chicago? Because, obviously if they win, then they would have the tiebreaker with you if you ended up with this same record.
Yeah, it's hard to say it's a must-win. I'd never put that on our players. We understand what the standings say after this game with a win compared to a loss. We are certainly all aware of that. I don't think anything's a must-win. Again, I don't want to put that on them. What I want to put on is, can we continue to play good basketball down the stretch? This reminds me so much of my foundational build year in Connecticut, my first year in Connecticut. We fell short of the playoffs, but we played well after the All-Star break. In fact, had a top 4 record after the All-Star break, despite not making the playoffs. That momentum really helped us in Connecticut then make the playoffs for 6 straight years. So the same thing here. The playoffs will play itself out. We can only control what we can control. But as long as we're playing well, I feel momentum is building towards next year and ultimately the future, and what I'm so excited about.
Thank you.
Coach, this morning Jordan was talking about just the leadership role that she has taken a lot of pride in and wanting to kind of expand that, especially this season. Where have you seen that evolve for her this year?
Yeah, she's had a terrific year. First off, if you teed me up, I appreciate it. But I believe she should be, not only in discussion, but hopefully the front runner for most improved player in the league. What she's doing at both ends of the floor, top 2 in steals in the league. She's top 5 in assists. She's playing both ends of the court. Her improvement from the 3-point line is dramatic. And somewhat unprecedented what you see in this league. So I just can't say enough about her. But what you can't quantify with analytics is her leadership. And she's a leader by example, by nature. She's quiet by nature, and she knows that. She'll always be a leader by example. She's really found her voice and picked her places, and you can see the confidence growing in that leadership more vocally. And she'll talk about it, and it's just fun to see. She doesn't talk about it as a breakout year. She talks about it as she's back to herself, and I'm glad she's back to herself if that's what she truly is, because she's having an outstanding year.
And Sabrina, last question. Coach, I apologize if this was asked earlier, but have you noticed any just stylistic things offensively that they've been doing now that Emery's in charge, since James was at the helm the last time you guys played?
Not necessarily. And honestly, they're so dynamic in transition and early actions, and then they're going to be very guard oriented, and one of two things: they like to post up their big guards, or they like to put their guards on the move. So you have this early shot clock attack, outstanding team in transition, outstanding team with just drags and step ups and just, attacking quick actions out of transition. Then, if you get to their playbook, they're at the end of the shot clock, and their plays are a little bit longer developing than some teams in the league. And at times, then it falls back on the guards late in shot clocks to go make individual plays, to go make plays. So you have this great attack early. You have these one-on-one and outstanding playmakers late. So they put pressure on you. You have to have hyper-focus early in the shot clock, and then you got to, you do your job, which we hope we do tonight, and we get them into their playbook, then we're going to have to work. We're going to have to work for all 24 seconds to have success tonight. Thank you.
So we just heard from Coach. Coach, he knows how big this game is. He knows that not only will it be a big game, but it's going to be a tough matchup. The Chicago Sky have defeated the Sparks 2 games so far this year. What's your thoughts on what we heard from Coach?
I think this is going to be the battle of the guards, and Coach knows that. He knows that we're going to have to go after Copper. We're going to have to keep Dana Evans in check, and our guards are going to have to shoot well, execute well, and that's what he's been talking about this whole season, right? Efficiency. Tonight is going to be the battle of which guards are going to be more efficient. What do you think, Fredo?
I mean, it is. It's going to be up to the guards, and of course, some breaking news that kind of came out earlier today that Lexi Brown will be officially out for the remaining part of the season. So that's very interesting to see that part as well. But are the Sparks going to clinch their playoff spot tonight? That's the question.
It's going to be tough, especially, we don't know for sure, but we heard that it may be no Lasia Clarendon. So if she's out, somebody's going to have to step up.
Somebody's going to
Zaya Cook, who we're going to see in a minute, who talked pregame, she's going to have to step up and make some big plays tonight to help Jordan and Carly Samuelson. So it's going to be on the wings players, but I'm looking towards the bigs to dominate. Their last game, they weren't able to do as much as we were hoped for. So hopefully Nneka could come out and have a big game like she's been doing for most of the season.
Yep. And Nneka did have a lot of rest in that last game, so hopefully she comes out explosive.
Yes, she did.
But let's throw it over to the players' press conference and hear what De'Erica and Zaya had to say, y'all.
Just understanding the moment and obviously balancing the urgency. What's been the communication amongst players getting ready for tonight's game?
I'm sure Coach spoke to it, but just it's a playoff game for us. We have the ability to control our destiny tonight by getting this win. So treating it like a playoff game is really important.
what do you feel you have to do better against Chicago? You guys lost twice against them late June, so.
Let me remember. I think we gotta contain their big guards, or their three guards, Ka, Mabry, and Courtney. Slow them down in transition a little bit. Make sure we get the boards and convert the other way. Yep, I think transition is going to be key for us, and that was very early on in the season. I think everybody's kind of seen that our defense has been very different over the last 8 games. So I think we'll be locked in that area.
This question is for Zaya. Chicago has great guards, and you have been an outstanding guard here this season. Tonight, what's the strategy to contain and like Dee said, what are you gonna do? What's the spark? Is it gonna be extra energy? Like, are you beating them on defense? What's the strategy here tonight?
I think just taking away the things that they're good at. Like, for example, we know Kyle likes to go baseline, so let's take that away. Let's just take away the things that they're good at so that we can be productive and just be ourselves. Play the way we've been playing for this last streak that we've had, and our end goal is to come out with the dub.
That's what's up. Thank you.
Yeah, either one of you can answer this. Maybe both of you can. But how has the vibe changed during this recent streak?
I would say just the confidence. I think this whole season we've kind of been trying to look at the bigger picture and not get too discouraged with the day in and day out of the adversity that we faced. So kind of good to see it pay off in a sense, and just give us a little bit more hope and something to look forward to, kind of with everything that we've gone through.
I think it just is like life. Like, you lose sometimes, and we've had instances where we lost a lot. We've been down, but it doesn't storm forever. So I think us having that winning streak for us was something that gave us that energy, and it's all happening at the right time. So it's just perfect time, and I think we did a good job at keeping our heads level.
Yeah, and kind of going off that, I feel like in the first half we talked a lot about having that next man up mentality with all the injuries. I was wondering if that's been able to lessen a little bit and allow you to focus on some other things, and what the mentality is right now.
I'd say so. Everybody's had an opportunity this year, just with the man up, man down, and I think we got some young girls that have come in and had to kind of play some important moments throughout this season, and tonight's going to be another big one with Leja out. Zaya's going to have to step up and bring. Oh.
I mean, it's only a couple of minutes before the game now. You might as well say it. But with an analytical perspective, do either one of you feel like this is a must-win, being that, this game will decide if Chicago wins this season series outright?
I think
and then that could be a tiebreaker?
Every game's a must-win game. Like you said, tonight we have a little bit, we can control our destiny with the playoffs coming to pretty much the last game. But we have this tiebreaker and can be up a couple games over Chicago. We have 6 games. I think they have 4 left. I think it puts us in a very good position.
Zaya, you ready for more minutes then tonight?
Yes, always. I'm super excited. He already talked about next man up, so I feel like I'm ready for whatever. The amount of minutes I get, I'm going to play my hardest, whatever I get.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Have a good game. All right, y'all. We just heard from Zaya Cook and De'Erica Hamby, and it sounds like Zaya is ready to step up. Exactly what we said, right? What are your thoughts tonight?
She has to, especially if you're not going to have no Leja there. Yeah. She's going to have to be the player. You might see some Ray Burrell minutes, which I'm excited about.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, this might be your day, Michael.
Avina may get some minutes to
yep.
Westbrook as well. So players are going to have to step up, but this team is used to it. They've been injured, sick throughout the whole year, so they know about the next player up mentality. So they should be ready to go. What you think, Fredo?
Well, I'm looking forward for Azurá Stevens. I think that's been my player of the game over the last few games, and it's been very interesting just to see how much she's developed throughout the whole year, because she talked about it. She started on the bench throughout the year. She was hurt. She was banged up. She kind of started 3 weeks into the season, and from that moment on, she's just been stepping up her game every single time. And right now, she's just doing it all right now.
So that's your player of the
That's
game.
my
You're
player
picking
of the game,
Azurá
Azurá
Stevens.
Stevens.
What about you,
I'm
Michael?
going to go with Nneka. I think Nneka's going to have a bounce-back game. She just got that 100th double-double 2 games ago, so she's going to be ready to go because she knows how important this game is. So I'm going with the superstar, Nneka Ogwumike, for my player of the game.
I think I'm going to roll the dice, and I'm going to go with Chef Zaya today.
Okay.
I think in that press conference, she made it very clear. She was ready to step up. She was going to be happy for every moment that she was going to play, and that she was going to play her hardest through every play. So I'm expecting to see a lot from Zaya. I'm expecting now to see after the game.
So before we get out of here, do we got a sweep? Is it 3 wins? We got all 3 wins tonight?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. There's no
Okay.
doubt about it. Because I'm so excited because it's going to be the competition of it. That competition part is going to be so exciting because they're, of course, Chicago's fighting for their lives, and the LA Sparks are fighting for the last spot of the playoffs right now.
Hey, so I thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget, we will be back post-game with more for you. LA Sparks Weekly. We will see you post-game, baby.
Yes, sir.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
Yo, what's up, everybody? We are here, LA Sparks Weekly, the post-game show, and the game did not go how we expected here, but you know, it was a tough loss for the Sparks. 76-75 came down to the final shot, but the Sparks just didn't have enough. You know who I am, Michael Matthew. Of course, I got my guy Fredo with me. Fredo.
Man, it's crazy, but I really want to get started with this because I got a lot to say. What's up, DJ?
Oh man, let's let you start because I'm going to speak emotionally 100%, y'all.
Okay, you got it, Fredo.
You know, I'm going to speak a little bit with my emotions as well, but it's crazy that Azurá Stevens did not touch the court at all in the 4th quarter.
Crazy.
I mean, when she has been playing just crazy good. She's been crazy good. And for her not to be on the court on the 4th quarter, you lose by 1 point. And it's crazy. I don't want to be too loud because I just saw Azurá right behind us and stuff. But
Nah,
you know,
she's probably thinking the same
yeah,
thing because
and especially this being her team she was with for the past 3 seasons.
Yeah.
You know, she might have something to be like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna come and give it to Chicago.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, I guess Coach wanted to go small. Jasmine Thomas. Jasmine, I like it too, man.
I've been telling y'all the whole year what I feel about that. But, you know, it is what it is. Coach is going to play her because that's his girl. But it's tough.
I mean, that was the talk inside of the room right now.
Yeah.
That was being said in there.
No, of course. But you
And
got
I
it, DJ.
sat in the fan section, y'all. So
Okay.
I had a completely different experience. I didn't sit over here with the media. I sat with the fans, and we were sad, y'all. This was an emotional experience for all of us. I'm not sure how we got here, and I'm going to be the delusional LA Sparks fan right now. The no calls are ridiculous. Let's just put it on the court right now. You know, refs out here. I don't know who can hear me, but it's crazy. Nneka Ogwumike is getting beat up in the paint. No fouls, no calls, and it's starting to become a problem, y'all.
You know how many foul attempts she had today?
How many?
0.
Now, one time did she get fouled out as we watching her get triple and double teamed.
Yeah.
Like, how many times, and I've talked about it
That's
on
crazy.
Twitter a lot, y'all. And even
Yeah.
Coach Miller talked about it in the press conference
yeah.
a little bit. It's starting to become a thing where we're not getting foul shots and we can't contend in that way.
You know, it's just tough when you have a player of her ability and her talent, MVP level talent, to shoot 20 shots and have 0 free throws attempts.
That's almost impossible.
It's really tough, but it comes down to, you know, offensive execution. They didn't have enough second and third quarter. They started off hot. They were up 28-21 at the end of the half. Nneka had 10 points. It looked like she was on her way to a 30-point game.
Yep.
But things became too stagnant for them to where they had to make a late comeback. They were down 9 and were able to actually get a lead
Took
late.
back a 3. Took back a 3
with Carly's big 3, but, you know, the missed free
It was
throw by
Yerkes
Jordan.
3.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was tough. And then Copper, Copper picked it up big time and finished with what?
She fouled us a lot with no
22
calls, too.
points.
She
So
got like one foul the whole game.
Seriously,
which
where
is,
the refs at?
it was
refs,
tough.
Where you at?
But we never blame the refs. It comes down
No,
to
I'm
players.
blaming the refs.
Players making plays, and they just didn't make enough.
Yeah.
They gave up. They were trading baskets late. They couldn't get the stops after they made their run from being down 9 points, and they had three shots. Like, if you told me, hey, they're going to get 3 shot attempts to finish the game, to win this game, I would say they would win. But they came in. We all picked them to win,
picked them,
and
and
they
we
didn't
were
come
so
out and
wrong.
pounce on them once they had the big lead early.
But you know what? You got to give a lot of credit to the Chicago Sky.
Yes.
They came in here probably thinking like, okay, we're going to maybe be out of the playoff picture. But they fought their way back into it. And even though they're only trailing by half a game right now with 5 games remaining. And if we I know we're going to look a little forward in a little bit looking to Seattle and what's going to be coming. But, we did get a chance to talk to head coach Kurt Miller right now during the post-game conference. And he did say a few interesting things. And this is what he had to say.
Guys, I'll be brief. Obviously, tough result, but proud of their fight literally all the way to the buzzer. Some nice execution when we went to the small lineup late to put us in position to maybe come back and steal that victory, but just came up a little bit short, 1 possession short offensively or defensively, and might have been able to steal that victory late.
Coach LT with TT Sports, the last 6-7 games, you guys been in every game. And I know coaches sometimes take a lot of heat from when things will go right again, but sometimes the players got to take accountability for learning how to close out games. So what do you say to them to help them figure out, hey, I'm putting you guys in a position to win the games, but they got to figure it out for themselves. So what do you tell players?
Just try to keep building their confidence up and getting used to playing with each other again. Down 9 late, made a really good run, a lot of good executions. And, again, we got 3 shots. There was a discussion, should we go early in the clock? And that was one of the reasons you go early in the clock and not take the last shot. And it led to 2 offensive rebounds, which ultimately could have been the difference. But just couldn't get that last one to go in.
Coach, it seemed like it got harder and harder for NECA to get her offense going after that really, really good first quarter. Moving forward, is it more about finding other spots for her to get open, or is it more about the guards kind of being more of an offensive threat? That way she's got a little bit more room to operate with.
Yeah, tonight, we talked and challenged. I thought NECA was so unselfish, almost too unselfish in that second quarter. I thought, she made a lot of good passes out of the paint, which generated open looks for people. But I almost told her she was being too unselfish at times, and we needed to, see if we could get her to the foul line, go up. It's uncanny. She's one of the superstars in the leagues that doesn't get a lot of calls. Took 20 shots, a lot in the paint tonight, didn't get to the foul line. But we just got to continue to play the ball through her, and she'll be a facilitator, but we need her to also score on this team.
Obviously, Coach, nobody wants to be down 9 late, but what bothered you the most about the game?
Bothered me?
Yes.
Not sure anything bothered me. It was, again, if anything for me was our offensive inconsistency at times where, we almost won a game shooting in the 30%. Just, again, tells you our defense is grinding, our defense is disruptive. We created a lot of turnovers in the first half. We weren't able to generate that same kind of turnover advantage in the second half.
Coach, regardless of this outcome, I wonder if in the locker room when you spoke to the team, did you deliver the message that we still control our own destiny, being that you got more games to play than this team?
Yeah, it was brief, and we just talked that we still have 5 games to go, and we have one more big game in crypto, and we've got to turn the page and now turn our focus to Seattle.
Hey, Coach. As you mentioned, you're still control your own destiny. You've got 5 games left to go. Just what do you need to see? What would you like to see out of these next 5 games that maybe you didn't see tonight?
Well, I'm seeing it, and so what I want to continue is the fight, determination, the effort. I want to be known as a team that's really scrappy. We'll let the wins and losses take care of themselves as long as we're playing hard. There's nights where the execution is going to be better than others. There's nights where you play great basketball. Other nights you got to grind out some ugly games. But the effort's got to be continuous. The intensity, the focus, the physicality. That's what we're looking for each and every night to try to establish what is going to be our base and our culture.
Coach, two things. It looks like you guys were pressuring, which has been working really well for you guys, but they were able to slip the screens and get a lot of buckets. I want to see what do you think the ladies could have done better as far as them in stopping the slips, and then the final play there. It looks like it was to NECA to go quickly to try to score. Was that final play executed the way you wanted to? Because it seems like it became a scramble after that.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of last plays become that way, where great players have to make great plays. We ran a play and tried to catch them over helping on Jordan and put NECA into open space. She lost control of her dribble a little bit, so then we had what we asked them to do is just get in a 2-man game and make a play. Obviously, the offensive rebound was huge, and she kicked it to an open jump shooter. We got an offensive rebound, so we got quality looks to win that game. So not disappointed that way. Again, just in terms of the defense, our disruption wasn't as effective in the second half as it was in the first half. We weren't creating as many deflections, as many turnovers. Obviously, their counter was slipping a lot of screens, ghosting out of a lot of screens. They won some of those battles. We won some of those battles. But certainly, in the second half, we hold them to 33 points, I believe. And so, again, we would take that against any team in the league if you can keep holding teams, 30 points per half.
Yeah, Kurt, you talked about the effort and the intensity and all that. Has that been a constant this season, even with all the other stuff that you guys have had to deal with?
Certainly. And, hard tonight against a team that has, 4 really, really talented guards that we're playing without Leja again, the 15th game that she's missed. She's a physical defender that really understands the game as a veteran in this league. We are now a 20% winning percentage team when we play without Leja. We are a 60% winning team when we played with Leja. Think about that difference. Like, we are a top 4 team percentage-wise when we've had Leja in the lineup. We have won 20% of our games in the 15 games that Leja hasn't played. She makes a difference so much on both ends of the ball. We didn't have the opportunity to move Jordan Canada off the ball as much tonight without Leja. So, just, again, what she's meant to us, again, shows up tonight, again, especially against a team with that talented of guards. Someone on Zoom?
Amani, but she didn't have her hand up. Amani, did you have a question?
Yeah, my question, hi Coach,
Hello.
Myra One-Sider. My question is, how many ATOs did you run today for Carly? And also, too, could you talk about her performance and Zaya's performance as well tonight?
Yeah, obviously when we went small, we tried a couple things with Carly, really worked out. So multiple ATOs were run specifically to Carly, had good execution. Zaya played, almost 20 minutes tonight, big in crunch time when we decided to play small, so left her on the floor for a large percentage of the time. She's aggressive, she's confident, and, she's just getting better and better. And, her biggest growth area is at times when things don't necessarily develop for her, that instead of taking a contested shot, can we move it to a different shot? But, I love the fact that she hunts for shots and she's offensive minded, and we needed that tonight when we were struggling.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
So we are back, LA Sparks Weekly, the post-game show. We just heard from Coach, and Coach talked about it: execution, defense, and some things that you just can't control that happens in a tough, close loss like this one today. The ladies looked like they were ready to go early on. Then, like I said, they became stagnant, and then they made that push.
Yeah.
Well, what did you hear from Coach Fredo that, kind of like that we kind of learned about what happened during this game?
I mean, when we look at the positive of the things that happened in the fourth quarter, we look at, being down 9. You know, they could have easily given out. I think there was like about 2.5 minutes or somewhere under 3 minutes. And they were able to rebound the ball, make some tough shots out there. The 3-point ball by Carly, the 3-point shot opportunity by Jordan Canada. They did the right things. If we kind of want to look at it into that way, they lost by 1. They didn't get blowout here. They lost by 1. They did get the 3 shot attempts, but Coach is like, we know we got 5 games left, and of course we know that as well. But that game had to be won. Like, I don't know how many times I'm going to say that today. Like, that game had to be won in order to secure your spot, because they had a chance to maybe make it to the 6th seed or the 5th seed, depending on the amount of games they get. But, it's going to be pretty interesting to see.
And another thing that Coach talked about in the press conference that I found interesting was that we didn't shoot really that well from the floor. And that could be because of Laisha, but it's also because of that effectiveness of what we're talking about. We saw a lot of very near the basket, missed, easy buckets, but also, too, that mid-range jumper. How effective are we really being? And then, too, Carly's matchup with Mabry. We saw them arguing. We got a technical out of it. So it's like that matchup was already a hard one, and I don't know if Carly came out on top of that because she's usually way more effective with the shots. It was a little bit harder for her to come off those screens with Mabry grabbing on her.
And I like Marina because she going to come and put them up. And when I
she's
street
ball.
ball, she shot 10, made 4. I think that was kind of a part of the difference. At one point, it was like 9-3 or 9-4 when it came to 3. The Sparks were able to make some late. But I think tonight was just one of those games to where it's like, hey, they just won. You can't really, because I'm looking at the stat sheet, there's nothing that stand out other than the field goal percentage.
How many shots did Jasmine take?
Jasmine took 4 shots. She was 1 for 4 from 3. She missed a big shot late, the wide open 3. On one of the putbacks, but it was just a tough game, and we were able to hear from the leaders, the captains, NECA and Jordan Canada. They talked to us about what happened in this game, and we're going to take you to them. NECA, just want to start off with you. You were able to come out early, 10 points in the first half, and then, they made it much tougher the rest of the way. Were they doing anything differently? And Coach mentioned that you kind of, second quarter, you kind of became too, less selfish as far as, spreading the ball around, where he kind of felt maybe you could have been, stayed aggressive. Like, was it anything they did, or was it kind of you just kind of like trying to get your teammates involved?
I mean, I was just playing the game, I feel like in the beginning we were flowing, and it wasn't just me that was scoring, it was everybody. And when you're flowing like that, and you're not really sure where the shot's going to come from, then I think that's kind of like the best type of basketball when you're moving around. I didn't realize that I was being too unselfish. I thought I was just trying to get the ball moving. I think we kind of got away from what we were like, how we were flowing in the first half, though. And I think focusing a little bit too much when they had like the small lineup, because that's hard to think about. You're now having to figure out how you want to, defend Cop at the 4, and those types of things. So just kind of getting away from what was working, I think, is kind of what happened. But we were able to get back to it in the end.
Just questions for both of you guys. The last 6 or 7 games, regardless of the win or the loss, you guys have really been scrapping, you've really been fighting, and it seems like you guys are starting to understand what it's going to take to close out games. So what do you figure between you two, just to think about it, what are some of the key things you think you have to work on to close out games in the end?
I mean,
we closed out a lot of games.
We've closed out, the last couple of weeks we've closed out a lot of games. I mean, basketball is a game of runs, and sometimes, excuse my French, shit just happens. There's nothing that we could do. We got 2 great got 3 great looks at the end. We just couldn't knock it down. We fought back. We outscored them in the fourth quarter. And like I said, throughout the night, I mean, we had great looks. We just didn't shoot the ball well. And then at the end of the game, we got 3 looks and couldn't knock it down. But, life, we'll still continue to look at the film and see what we did wrong and, move forward to the next game.
Jordan and Nneka, as leaders on this team, I'm wondering if you've already delivered or plan on delivering a message to your teammates, or just kind of talking amongst each other that, with 5 games to go, we still control our destiny when it comes to making the playoffs.
I mean, I think that's something that we always try to focus on, is just being in the moment, and we focus and respect the opportunity in front of us and the team that's going to come. Obviously, playoffs are looming, and of course, that's in the back of your mind, but just honoring each game, honoring each day, to have the opportunity to compete together, I think is something that we just kind of really focus on. And realistically, we have a group that understands that. We could talk about it and bring attention to it, but we have a group that really understands that already.
Let's go to Amani Wright on Zoom.
Hi, I'm Marty Wright from Winshire. Jordan, this is for you. You passed the record for franchise steals for most steals in a single season in Sparks franchise history. So congratulations. And with that, I'm just wondering, where does your defensive tenacity stem from? And is there anything specifically you work on defensively that just makes you an elite defender?
I think I'm just have the mentality of being aggressive on the ball or off the ball, and just having the mindset that I don't want anyone to score on me. And me being quick, I'm able to recover a lot on defensive plays and able to stay in front of tough guards. So that's just kind of the mentality that I have day in and day out of, not wanting to get scored on and, using my quickness to disrupt guards and have a knack for the ball. And, that's pretty much it.
And last question right here.
Jordan, this one's for you. Without Leisure tonight, how much was on your plate? Coach talked about, you weren't able to play off the ball as much. And it's kind of been working for you guys lately. So how tough was it for you tonight to mostly be on the ball, the one having to set everyone up and, run the offense?
I mean, that's my job anyway. Obviously Leisure is a impact player. She comes in, she takes that load off of me a little bit. But, in the beginning when she was out, I had to take on that burden. So, I'm used to it. And, Jazz came in and she was able to run the PG and able for me to get off the ball as well. But that's just kind of the role that I have on this team. I have a lot to carry. I have a lot on my plate, and I accept the challenge day in and day out. Obviously Leisure helps me with that, but, that's just kind of my role on this team, and understanding that I have to take on that burden regardless of who's in and who's out. I'm going to do it every day in and day out. So that's just kind of, it didn't really bother me that much, but I was thankful to have, Jazz come in and play a little bit of the one and help me get off the ball a little bit.
Oh, John, last question.
Non-basketball related. Just wondering about this fit. Is the Compton legend DeRozan one of your favorite players or something, or you just rocking his jersey?
He's a LA legend, and my best friend is actually her sister is married to DeMar DeRozan. So yeah, I just wanted to wear it today, represent him, and that was pretty much it. Yeah.
Thank you.
We are back. LA Sparks Weekly post-game show. We just heard from the leaders, the captains, Jordan Canada, Nneka Ogwumike. What's your thoughts on what they had to say inside the press conference, Fredo?
I mean, it was just interesting to see, even Jordan Canada, we can see that those are the two leaders because they talk the right way. And even though after a devastating loss like this, They put the right people out there. And I mean, one
They weren't
interesting,
too down.
They
didn't
weren't
seem
too
like
down.
they
No,
were
no. And
defeated.
that's the thing that I caught on both of them. Like they seem very mature enough.
Yeah.
You know, they took this L very good, and I'm pretty sure the confidence level is still up high. Inside that locker room. I know Coach is a great motivator as well, so I'm pretty sure he's keeping his team put together. But even Jordan Canada said, "Hey, look, we got 5 games. There's still 5 games remaining. We're only half a game behind, and it's technically just them in Chicago because Seattle's out of the picture. Phoenix is out of the picture as well. So everybody else is just way down below, even Indiana as well. But there's gonna be some tough games to look forward to in these last 5 games. We got Seattle here. Then, you know, we still got the New York Liberty one more time. And then we still got in New York. So that's gonna be a tough one. And then they end the season in Indiana, I believe it is. Right?
But also we beat Vegas. So before we be scared about New York, we beat the Aces.
New York took care of business too multiple times.
But well, just listening to them, NECA, what Coach was said in the press conference was her kind of being a little unselfish in the second quarter when the team had the lead. Where you want to see your superstar player to sometimes pounce on, you know, the team they're playing against. And I think this was a game NECA should have said, I'm going to be real aggressive first half. I want to go for 35, 40 points this game so that we can put them away early. And, you know, I know NECA likes to play with the flow of an offense, but sometimes you got to say, damn it, I'm the best player on the court. I'm going to take the ball. I'm going to go get some buckets.
Even like what you asked her during the conference, and, you know, you just kind of said what Coach said. And it seemed like, you know, she kind of took it a little well, look, I'm not
I'm just trying to play, you know, within the system. But I think sometimes, you know, that's the difference between Asia Wilson and Breanna Stewart. Those two are players that, hey, if I need to go get 40, I'm going to go and get it. And I think this was a game that NECA, with her going, you know, doing so well early, she should have been a little more aggressive. And then Jordan Canada talked about, you know, Laisha not being there. She's saying that, hey, her role is to do all of this stuff, play point guard, go get buckets, play defense and things like that. But you saw tonight, Coach dropped that gem on us. There's 60% win percentage with Laisha and only 20% when she doesn't play. So it shows how important she is.
So we should have known, really. Now that we know that statistic. Next time Laisha ain't in the lineup, ain't in the arena.
So get healthy soon because they need you, Laisha. So they match up Thursday night, Fan Appreciation Night, which is going to be big. They play against the Seattle Storm, a team who has struggled all year long, but they do have Jewel Lloyd, the Golden Mamba. How are we feeling about that game Thursday night?
I'm thinking it's gonna be easy peasy. I don't think Jewel Lloyd is gonna play. If Jewel is playing, it's like a recreational Drew League kind of situation because they already out. The season is over. Go ahead, get your rest, rebuild for next time, girl. Gonna take a nice vacation. I'm not sure what you want to do, but there will be no reason for Jewel Lloyd.
She ain't got no more games.
She's a baller, man. I've said it throughout all year long. This year, the best performance I've seen from an away player has been Jewel Lloyd.
She can ball.
Yeah, she can ball.
I mean, but at what point do you cut your losses and just be like, you know, I'm going to just sit on that? Even LeBron sits sometimes. Anthony Davis, load management.
We don't want to talk about that.
Some of the Seattle players are coming down to L.A. They're all going to want to play.
Yeah.
Because they want the spotlight.
They should put the bench in.
I hope that's the case, though. I hope that's the case. That means there should be no excuses why L.A. should not win on Friday.
Because we were upset, disappointed because we thought that they were going to get this win. But I think we all feel very favorable about the matchup Thursday night.
For sure.
Just like I know you feel favorable, fans out there, about this matchup. So hopefully the ladies are ready to go. But don't worry, we're going to make sure that we have the press conference for you, and we're going to give you all the info to get you prepared for the next game with LA Sparks Weekly pregame show. I am Michael Matthew.
Wait, before we go, Michael, who your player of the game?
Player of the game, I'm going to go with Carly Samuelson. She had 9 rebounds, a career high. She had 11 points. She made some big shots late. She did some stuff I've never expected her to be able to do, to come off the screen and catch and that quickly put up a shot. The 3-point shot she did to give them that 1 point lead.
She like Kyle Korver out there?
Looking like Kyle Korver. So shout out to Carly. Who you got, DJ Tracy Trees?
I think for my game today is Jordan Canada. Jordan Canada just made
15
herself
9, 4 steals, 4 rebounds.
She not a leader of all steals for the LA Sparks.
Yeah.
She's also the reason that we are the top team for steals. So
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and give it to Jordan Canada for the day. She had a lot of points. She was doing her thing. She did miss that free throw, but that's
yeah.
okay, JC.
Give her her flowers.
Exactly. And we will be having an exclusive interview with her tomorrow on the LA Sparks Weekly channel, so keep it locked for that.
Can't wait for that. Fredo, who you got?
There it is,
Player of the
man.
game?
Well, I mean, first of all, shout out to your player, Carly Samuelson, because she had a lot of clutch shots today.
Yes.
Wish they would have got the victory. Shout out to JC for being so aggressive and just amazing out on the court. But we got to give a major shout out to the great Nneka Ogwumike, who today surpassed Becky Hammond for 15 all time.
I'm glad.
In WNBA history with 5,842 points. So that's my player of the game tonight.
Another double-double, 18 and 11, so that's
Right.
101.
That's 101. This
She
is
ain't even
NECA
counting no
101
more.
class right
Yeah,
here.
NECA 101. So hopefully the ladies can figure it out because, you know, this was a big game that they needed. That means Thursday is a must-win if they really want to make a push for the
Do you want to
playoffs.
guarantee that right now?
Guarantee.
You heard it here first.
I guarantee that they're going to take care of business Thursday night. Count on it, so I can't wait for that. So, hey, we catch you guys next on Thursday for the next game. Michael here, DJ Treese, Fredo. Catch you guys next time.
Yes, sir.